Hey everyone, it looks like we are live. We made it to yet another Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. Today is going to be a special live stream because we are doing golden open acrylics and we're testing these because I took these out of storage. I was going to purchase them, but I did find them in storage, and that was quite serendipitous because I was going to buy it next week. So I did contact Golden, and they said even though it's a little stringy, if I add water, it would actually work a lot better. Uh, so we'll see how this goes. I'm just adding some water here, and so I have my colors. I also have this set of golden heavy bodied grays, and we got all the way from, let me see, we have number 2, number 3, number 4, we have number 6 and number 7, right? Whoop, let me go over here. Where is it? Number 7 and number 8. So I have them over here. And we're going to work. Hey, Mr. Steve Leahy, how's it going? Mr. Roy. So we have Kyle from PA. We have Roy from Jersey. We have Steve Leahy from Ohio. Thank you so much, guys, so far. It's so great to see you. And yes, so Mr. Kyle is number 1, followed by Roy number 2, and Mr. Leahy is lagging behind as number 3. But I know you're going to make it and be number 1, Mr. Leahy. So how it works is the more you comment or give super chats, the crown gets higher in number. So that's what I'm taking. So in my painting here, we are towards the end. So I wanted to have this opportunity because I'm usually a number 2. Yes, and I hear that. But you're always number 1 in my book, sir. And so basically, what I want to do is use the heavy body acrylics, the open line, and see how it works with the wet palette. So a lot of tests today, a lot of firsts, and we'll see how it's going. I'm going to come up and bring up my program here so I can mix my colors with my method. And I'll be just one moment, guys. So it's great to see everyone. Thank you so much for hanging here on this kind of hot, balmy night here in sunny New Jersey, just outside of New York. So let me make sure I get to the right spot here. Okay, so what I want to do now is put on my glasses because we have to see what we're painting. I find that to be crucial, the whole seeing it, Yes, Kyle says you're number 1 in our hearts. That's so great. So that's cool. And let's see. So I've been working as, having like a part-time job, Mr. Steve. So I have not been able to make your live streams. Mondays has been my day of work. So I do apologize. I do catch them on record. And I was just watching your Tokyo painting on record. Mr. Kyle, thank you so much. Look at that, Mr. Kyle with the super chat. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that so much. I thank you so much with the first super chat of the day. That is so cool. So what I'm going to do is there's some really cool lights over here. I'm going to start putting them in because, as you know, there's just no opacity in airbrush paint. So I'm kind of working this out. So right now I'm going to, here's the beginning, the first inaugural open acrylics here, and I'm looking for a bluish green, And of course, we're going to make sure you don't use, if you're someone like me and you work in several mediums, never use a rag that you use in oils, because that would be disastrous, right? So what I'm going to do is add some blue to this green, and then we're going to lighten it up with some of this zinc white. And what I'm looking for is a nice opacity. And Astral, how's it going, my friend? Great to see you, sir. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going for a nice opacity here. And it's a little light, so I'm going to have to add more of my zinc white. Now, zinc white is not as opaque as, let's say, titanium white, but I do like its properties. It's a little more transparent, but still has some opacity. And so I'm probably going to make sure I don't add any water here. And we'll put this right here, just this little bit of color right there. And let's see if we have that color over here. Yes, we do. So I'm just going to add that color right there. So a little more opacity, which is always good. There we go. And hey, Gary, how's it going? All the way from Jersey, all the way from Hershey, Pennsylvania area. And we have Astro from the UK. Great to see you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out, sir. And just adding some little areas of light, which is very interesting. And now I have some orange light, and I'm going to come over here, and we can change our webcam, our palette cam, right? And we have this beautiful orange. We'll come back here. And let's see, where are we going to put this orange? Maybe right here. There we go. So you see how I'm adding those oranges, which is really cool. So Astral is #1. Look at that. Holy cow. Gary says we have some new crowned viewers. Yes, so cool. #1. So we'll just add this here. And on the other side, we have right over here, we have a little orange right there. And I like this because I'm able to add some interest to the painting. And with the airbrush, as you know, you're kind of limited as far as coming in with opacity. And I'm even getting a little bit of a transparent here, but that's okay. And just adding some advertisements. And I may come in with some heavy bodied acrylics. Let's see, right over here, have a little bit. just, you know, kind of looking at maybe some advertisements or something like that. And come over here. We have this deeper red. No crown for the fourth. Oh man, don't worry, you'll be back. How much did that number one crown cost you? And then a little red here. And right here, we're going to add a little deeper red. And the great thing about these open line acrylics is that they stay wet for a long time. Now these are old, so we'll see. Mr. Dave, how's it going, my friend? With the super chat all the way from Texas. Great to see you, sir. Thank you so much for the second super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. So that is great, Mr. Dave, all the way from Texas. And as they say in Latin America, Tejas. Make sure I don't have anything on my hands here. I hope you all can see how I'm able to, you know, really work on this. Almost like adding, you know, almost like doing colored pencils, but this way still keeping it in acrylics, albeit a different acrylic than what we are working with in the Createx Wicked line, but still compatible, I feel. At least I hope, and we'll see. And any findings I have, I always share it with you all. So that's great. Mr. Gary with the super chat, back to number one crown. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So Mr. Gary, he with authority, he gets right back to number one. Thank you so much for your friendship and your support. Mr. Dave as well. And Mr. Kyle, thank you guys for all of your hard work and support. I appreciate it. So that is so cool. So you guys are really well appreciated by me. And so I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Really appreciate you. And so I can basically come back and bring in more opacity by layering it. Just adding some interest here on both sides, so you're not just looking at her. Your eye can wander a little bit, which is not too bad, because there are a lot of lights going on here. Ah, thank you. Mr. Bug says it looks great. That means so much to me, sir. Thank you for that. I'm trying my hardest. And, you know, I could have called this done, but, you know, you just want to take it to that next level. You know, I worked on it for so many weeks to, you know, let it kind of, you know, leave it as good enough. And we don't want good enough. We want next level, right? And that's important to get to that next level. And what a great way to come in with these open line of acrylics and add some opacity and just add some interest side. Now some may say, you know, hey Tim, you know, those are high saturation lights, but you know what? That's what's going on. New York City, any city, is a distraction, right? So, of course, you know, being a city dweller my whole life, I know that the city can be a distraction. So, it's not a painting where, I'm just going to relax and, say, okay. No, I want to speak about, the underground and what it's like. Gary says it's done when you come back and don't see anything else you could add. Yes, exactly. You just feel like, okay, this is where I can leave it, right? And whenever that happens, it happens. I'm working on a really nice, beautiful double portrait commission, and it's going slower than I thought, but I really can't speed it up. I wish I could. I know with portrait commissions you tend to have deadlines, but what happens is that your whole artist way of seeing kind of comes into play, and and you apologize, but you can do it better, so you need more time. And so that's where I am on my portrait commission. And I am apologetic about it, but in another sense, it's important that I be true to my own technique. So I'm going to come in with this color here, this brush here. This one, let's see, we'll go to the other. So I'm going to come in with this brush, and I'm going to add my white. And looking at this, I'm going to come in with my number 8 neutral gray. And so when you have a tube, whether it's oil paint or anything, there's a certain way that you have to put that on the palette. And and the main thing is to locate your palette knife. And so if I just went like this and spread it, it'd make a mess. But if I go like this, see that? I can kind of spread that on there like that. Now these are the heavy bodied acrylics, which are different. They're not the slow drying time that the open line have from Golden. And now what I'll do is I'll take these here and I'll add some orange to it. Let's see, just a little tiny bit of orange to this. And it's definitely not white. And what we can do is just kind of put in some interest. Dave the Bug says, I heard my mom signed her painting. She did. What a great painting she did, sir. Your mom really knocked that painting out of the park. It was so good. So yeah, so she really took it to the next level. Just like what we're doing now is, just saying, okay, is it done? And then saying, nope. And she actually made some extra changes and really was great, Dave. Really fantastic stuff. And we're going to go to the cam here. And let's see, just kind of. And it's going to be great when we come in with the in the face with this. It's going to be fun. Really kind of hit those lights and her hair and everything like that. It's going to take it to the next level. Let's see. We have a light on this side. Maybe a little bit up top here. Just add a little bit of energy right here. Okay, so now maybe we can start working out some of her hair. That would be fun. Let's see if we could make that happen. Let's see. Okay, so we have this kind of light brown color. And I'm going to use some of this burnt sienna and maybe just a tiny bit of raw umber. And now we're going to kind of paint some hairs coming out. And then over here on this side, we have some hairs. This coming out here. And you see how we can just get some beautiful strands of hair on this side. And since we have this color, let's see if we can kind of work on some strands of hair here inside the hair shape. Okay, so right in here we have a lighter color. So I can take some of my burnt sienna, I'm saying, some burnt sienna, some raw umber, and then some of our number 8 gray. And now we have this lighter color we can play with. And what's great, if I wanted to go over this with airbrush, I can if I needed to soften it, if that did happen. Then I can see that the lights of her hair are coming down a little bit more. So basically, you always want to try and innovate. Do things that wasn't done before and see if you can take it to that next level of doing something that makes other artists go, I haven't thought of that. And that's always good to do. Keeps yourself honest and keeps other artists honest. Now I have this light color. I can kind of use that as negative space in her hair there. See how I created some negative space, which is really good. It doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be lighter to create that negative space. Same thing over here. I can create some negative space just by going lighter. Even, well, that I probably want to go a little darker. Here we go. Now, I'm probably going to use the gray to get that, right? So, it doesn't work. It works on this side, but on that side, I think I'm going to use gray number 6. Okay, so I'm going to pull this over. And literally, I bought this about 10 years ago, right? So think about how good this holds up. So I have some gray number 6 here, and I'm going to use my palette knife again as soon as I locate it, right here. And there's my gray number 6, and then maybe a darker gray as well. And we'll see how it works on the wet palette. So that was number 6. We don't have number 5. However, we do have number 4. So let's put number 4 there. Oh, thank you, Astral. I appreciate that. So here's my number 4. We kind of skipped number 5. Not sure where number 5 went. Okay, so now I have a good amount. So that's how you kind of get the paint out of a tube. Use your palette knife. I see too many people just go and kind of drag it, and then it gets all over the tube, and it's just a real bad mess. So we don't want to do that. It could be the heat, definitely. Let's see. So we're going to go back to this brush, and remember we want to, I'm going to add a little bit of medium here. And remember, we needed the gray. The background was gray, so we'll zoom in here. Now, see how we were able to create the negative space. With that hair, and we have some negative space up here, which is going to be pretty cool. Let's see if I can create a little bit of negative space. Gary says, I see your lady is single, no engagement ring. Yes, that's the best. The best kind of woman is a single woman, I think. Definitely a single lady. And then I have this really nice light here. So I'm going to come in with my white, zinc white that is. I probably should come in with some titanium white. But we have this bright light here. Let's see if this actually translates. Yeah, the zinc white is very transparent. So I'm going to go ahead and grab myself. Actually, why don't we just use the number 8. Let's see what that does. Oh yeah, the number 8 is really nice. And see how we can create that feeling of her hair, kind of, you know, little strands here and there. And since I have this number 8, let's go ahead and make some highlights here. Next level stuff, my friends. Next level stuff. So, using heavy-bodied acrylics and open acrylics to take your painting to that next level is really good, because we did a transparent. Oh, Mr. Dave, thank you so much. Have a great night. And don't work so hard, my friend. There we go. And so everyone's saying good night to Mr. Gregory. Great guy. The Bugster. It's all about adding interest. And then what we'll do is, so what I want to do is kind of create this sense of the hair kind of being very, you know, fly away over here, and then we'll come in with some really cool strands. What is a negative space? Oh, so a positive space is where something is, and a negative space is where there's a, you know, there's like a area where it's not. Like here's the hair, and in between this little hair here and here, where there's no hair, that's like the negative space. So that, yeah, that was interesting for me when I first went to art school. What did that mean? So with this, I'm creating this uh, kind of hole in the foliage of her hair, so to speak. You can go a little bit more gray here. So it kind of follows what's behind. And then we have the dark gray, which is our number 4. Actually a little bit darker. Positive space is where you know you're not alone, but they can't hear you scream. Let's see. So now I'm looking for a dark. So I have this number 2, which is very close to black. And so think about it. You're able to use acrylics that are heavy bodied like this at the end of your painting. And then if you need to, you can, you know, come back in with the airbrush, which is really fantastic. And where's my cap? Okay. So I am not sponsored by Gold in any way, shape, or form. I wanted to use their products and test it out. So think about the Golden line is that it stays wet for a long time. So you can actually have this sit here and stay wet for your whole painting session, and not even without the wet palette, which is really great. Now, brand new, they should stay wet for at least a day. However, these have been sitting in storage for 2 years, and I bought them about 5 years before. So I did talk to Mike Townsend over at Golden, and he said if you add just a little bit of water, that should help them, but you need to have that Golden open medium, which I am going to purchase on Friday. And I was going to actually purchase the whole set of open acrylics. However, I did find it in storage, so that was nice. Saved me quite a bit of money. Good thing I never pulled the trigger on that, right? Being poor really helps you to be cautious. So, and hopefully I won't be poor forever. Okay, so now we're going to go back here. And remember, I had that dollar because I want to have the negative space up here, right? So I'm going to pick on some of this number 2, which really isn't that dark, and I'm going to add a little bit of my ivory black to that. Okay, so right here, we're going to pull this over. So you see how it reflects what's underneath. And then we have some holes in here, so we'll go a little bit lighter, like right here. And ooh, that's too light, so maybe we'll come over here with this color here. And a little bit darker over here. So it really helps to kind of bring her a little more, you know, into the background. Like she's not pasted on there. She's integrated. And then we can come in with the lighter colors here. Mr. Drew Blair, greatest airbrush painter ever, he said that hair next to a dark area is light, and next to a light area it's dark. So I love that. And that doesn't look good right there, so let's see if I'll just kind of get rid of that. And let's pull this over here. Bring some of this light color. And then where the hair is light, we're going to make dark. I mean, where the background is light, we're going to make the hair darker. Let's see, I'm going to have this raw umber, and I'll add a little bit of the ivory black to this. And then here, we can extend this area here of dark. And being heavy bodied, and it's very opaque, which is nice. It covers beautifully. And we'll move some of this dark color up. Well, what I can do is I'll take some of my burnt sienna and I'll add some of my ivory black. And then we'll kind of work on some of the hair texture. Right here we have this beautiful dark. Bring this up. And then we can bring, when you're painting in private, do you have music playing? Yes, mostly classical music, you know, like Franz Liszt or maybe Beethoven, but usually it's either classical or I do like Christian contemporary, that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely I'll watch YouTube videos often when I'm painting. Hey, Mr. John Diekman from Wisconsin, how are you? Great to see you, sir. How cool. How have you been, sir? I know you're always working so hard. Have you still been working a lot of hours? I'm going to bring the dark of her hair down a little bit. So the hairline comes down quite a bit. See this? Kind of. See, if I didn't take it to the next level, I would have missed stuff like this. And I think that really has a lot to do with her likeness when we take it to that next level. So, John, what's new with you, sir? So I'm bringing that hairline over. I can't paint without Pink Floyd playing in the background. Great choice, my friend. That's actually great music. So probably bringing in her hairline in a direction really starts to give her more life, right, everybody? Best wishes to you and Dad, John. I understand what you're going through. John, what happened? Is everything okay? And I'm so sorry if anything rough's going on with you, sir. I do apologize if that's happening. Oh, you went to Utah on motorcycle. Very cool. Oh, your dad had 2 strokes. I'm so sorry, sir. My prayers are with you and your dad and your family. And 87's a rough age. They say that old age is not for the weak. So he's a tough guy. I can see that. Oh, he's doing good, but kidneys are not working well right now. Oh man. Ugh. Yeah, it's when our parents get old, it's really hard. You know, it really is. And now I'm really coming in with some of the details in her eyes. So the paintbrush really works well with the airbrush. They work really well together. Like peanut butter and chocolate, right? And so my prayers for your dad's speedy recovery, sir. Thank you so much for coming. It's always great to see you, Mr. Diekman. Does your dad live in Wisconsin as well? I hope so. I hope he's close to family. So this open acrylics are really working great. 3 miles from you, thank goodness. Yes. When family's not doing well, it's so important that we're there to look after them. My brother, he got sick. He was so far away, we were unable to get to him, and he passed away without us really saying goodbye, and that was rough. But also, when he was sick, we weren't there to look after him either. So now I have the ability with the opaque colors to really do some really, wonderful things, with helping the drawing aspect of the painting. And I could really, make those lines much more beautiful. Yes, it really does, sir. So I'm so glad your dad's close and you're looking after him and he's doing better. And I'm praying that he continues doing much better. So notice how, which is really cool, all of this paint here is open and it hasn't even started to dry. So it's still very wet, as you can see. So we have this beautiful brown here, and I'm going to try and put that in the... So basically what I'm doing is doing what I probably would have done if I used colored pencils at this point. And, we've all used colored pencils at one point or another. So now I'm adding kind of the hazel color of her eyes here. I want to go thicker. And we would have a hard time with just airbrush to actually come in and get this opacity. So now I'm going to be starting to employ golden heavy body acrylics over my Createx airbrush. And then I have the ability to come back in with the airbrush over it if I need to. So I have been doing oil paint over it, and that's good, and I'm going to continue doing that. But now I have the added ability to, now that I work in this way, it's sort of the best of all worlds, and I'm always trying to do that. So this is, I believe, burnt sienna, pure out of the tube. And so I need to have just a little bit of color here. So, airbrush is great, but it's not always great. Same thing. Working with the brush and acrylics is great, but it's not always great. It's not always the best. So my idea, since I know so many different ways of painting, so many different mediums, is to make sure that I always use the right medium for the right job. And medium being airbrush, oils, heavy-bodied acrylics, that sort of thing. What do I paint? What I use are two things. I'm using this, sir. Let me show you. This is Fluid Matte Medium by Golden, and also just plain water. But that's in the interim. On Friday, I'm going to purchase the Golden Open Medium, and what that does, it extends it and actually keeps the drying time the same, which is really good. So the main reason using open as opposed to just a regular heavy body is that you have probably about, I would say 3 or 4 days of, you have basically 3 or 4 days of open, working with the wet on the palette, but it actually stays wet on your surface for about 30 minutes, which is great, so you can blend. Steven says, we're getting hit with another thunderstorm right now. I think I'm going to play it safe and shut down the computer, especially after Scott McKay and his switcher fired by the same thing. Oh, definitely. Take care, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out, Mr. Steve. I appreciate you, sir. So now I'm really getting that beautiful dark brown, almost hazel eyes here. Take care, my friend. You are the best. Now I want to come in with a lighter color. So I'm going to use your friend and mine, yellow ochre. And I'm going to add some of that burnt sienna to it. Now remember, it's still wet, right? Because of the open acrylics. So I can actually come in here and create more depth. So let's see. I'm going to see if I can focus better. Okay. See how I'm going to bring that kind of lighter color of the yellow ochre right in here. And I also think I'm going to extend this eye up a little bit here. And then I'm going to take the sclera, or the white of the eye, and extend that up a little higher. And that seems to be a little bit better for me. And right here, Astral #1, look at that. Very funny, sir. So this is definitely, tonight's going to be when we call this painting done. Then we have this highlight right here. Comes out, and then this one right here. And now we can come back with that brown, kind of shape it better. And that looks pretty good. And now let's see if we could go ahead and bring in the ivory black and a little bit of the raw umber. Now the ivory black is a little transparent for some reason. I might have put too much water. But before I do that, let me just create the outer ring of this eye here. There we go. And then we'll come in with that pupil there. And so now you can see, you know, up close it doesn't look that great, but from far away, this is a small painting. And let's see if we can extend some of this dark here. We don't see as much light on this side because it's the dark side of the eye. But this is definitely going to be what I'm going to be doing in the future, is, you know, coming in with the golden at the very end. I'm going to come in with the golden heavy body and open acrylics to take the work to that next level. Thank God I went and checked in my storage facility. You can tell when a painting is really good when the eyes follow you around the room. I hope that happens with mine. And over here on this side of the sclera, it's pretty dark, so I'm going to come in with my combination of #2 and #4. Nice and opaque, because I want to cover. See how I covered that? So, you know, if we were doing it in airbrush, we would have a bit of a hard time. So we are circumventing the hard time by, and notice here, this is all dry, right? So, well, oh, okay, we're working with, it's not dry. Remember, we're working with the open, forgot. So it is a little wet. So the open allows you to kind of play with it for a while on the surface, unlike other acrylics, which will dry on the surface within a minute or so. I'm going to come back in with this burnt sienna. You know, create that sense of her eyes, you know, not black. We'll take some of that burnt sienna, bring that to the corner, so that burnt sienna really works good for the creases because it's not black. So it has some of that subsurface scattering of light. As it goes into the surface, bounces around, and comes out. And then we'll come over here and do the same. And maybe we can add some of this color to her eyebrow. I always make the eyebrows smaller on a subconscious level. I make them thinner. So I always make sure that I combat that and don't make them too thin. And come in with this color here. It's dark, but it's not black. And that's good. And that's what gives it a realistic feel. You know, this is blood, you know, subsurface scattering. Photons come in, they go into the surface, bounce around, and come out. And that's where the blood and the glow comes out a lot in portraits. Astral says he learned that from a tour guide at an old mansion when he was about 7 years old. He made him walk past a huge oil painting and it blew him away. Yes, the whole idea of the eyes following you, definitely. Now right there I was a little bit, you can always just do that. It's scary. Don't do as I do, because that was scary. At this late stage you can do stuff like that because there's so much acrylic on the surface, but that was risky and that was stupid of me, so don't do that. And so I'm liking that, but let's put in some of the negative space. So the positive space, Gary, would be the eyebrow, and the negative space is going to be this skin tone that's coming out underneath. Okay, so now we got to make sure that we just don't go overboard, but we want some of the skin to show underneath that. Hey, look, Gary's back to number 1. So you see the negative space, Gary, that we're getting from the showing the skin underneath the. So the eye hid behind the eyelash. Yes, exactly. That's exactly true. That's the negative space. And so that basically gives it more interest. So I'm going to come in here. I'll tell you, I'm really enjoying this. So what do you guys think of this? I mean, I'm sure you haven't seen much of this, working with heavy-bodied acrylics over an airbrush painting. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you like it? Does it seem like it's, some people will be like, oh, it's cheating or what have you? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Just ate dinner at 10:30, currently fat and happy. Oh man, nothing like being full, right? Buen provecho. God bless, man. That is great. And right now we're really in there tight, but you'll see how it's looking once I now I'm going to extend the light of this Retrobicularis Oquali fat pad right here, because it's facing the light most directly. What faces the light most directly has the most energy. So, and that's how we do that. Oh, Gary, no artist, so he's good with it. Well, that's important to me, sir, so thank you. That's so cool. And let's see. So if we zoom out, you can see. Let's zoom out and just take a look at it. So you can see how she's kind of evolving, right? And that's important that we do that. And also right in here, we can work on this little area right here. Bring in some of the light in the corner of her eye here. And we have this beautiful highlight here on her nose. And notice how that just, and so we did the airbrush light, right? And now we come in, and right inside that light, we have that beautiful soft highlight coming right out from underneath there. And we can even extend this light here, make it more specular here, this highlight. And it totally works together because acrylic's acrylic, right everyone? So that's basically it, you know, it's Mr. Air Todd, how's it going? Great to see you. Always a pleasure, my friend. Astral says he did this with gouache and inks, very cool. He always paints this way. I love to hear it. And Mr. Air Todd, how's it going all the way from San Diego? John says, good night, Tim and all. I need to get some sleep. Take care, my friend. Lots of prayers going out to you, sir. And thank you so much for stopping by. And I know your dad's going to get better. You know, I'm praying hard. So thank you, sir, for, you know, being a supporter of the channel and a good friend. And Mr. Gary says, let's see, what did Gary says? When he paints his living room, he uses a roller, brush and roller. Hey, that's a great technique, sir. And we'll go a little bit lighter here on that side of the sclera. There we go. And we're just going to bring this over. So I'm taking this light color, I'm adding a little bit of that medium to extend it, and then I'm kind of doing this. So Mr. Todd, how you been, sir? What's new with you? This way I can shape those lips, which is really cool. And I want to extend these lights here. So this is a bit brighter here. So I'm just going to come in with these heavy body acrylics here. And you can work them. Astral said, let's see. Oh, just work and no fun. Oh man, I'm sorry. I hope that changes for you, sir. Well, I'm glad you're here tonight, Mr. Todd. It's great to see you. And now you can see just how beautiful when we add these lights and how things start to really take shape with her. Add some light here. Sort of a dry brush technique here. Now she starts to look, you know, more human. And a little bit of light here. Coming down. From The Shining, all work and no play. Oh man, yes. That was a scary movie, huh guys? The Shining. That was the first movie I think that used a Steadicam. I'm really loving the way that the light is falling on her. Just do that dry brush technique here. And then we can hit that highlight, which is nice. What is that orangish spot just down from the light on the left of her head? So the left of her head, just like right here. Oh yes, that's just kind of a light that's on the other side of the subway. Or maybe it's coming from somewhere kind of like that, you know. Just to add some interest a little bit, I think. Just because I like the idea of orange everywhere. And so kind of echoes her skin and stuff like that. So that's kind of like a compositional element there. And so it's not really anything in particular, but kind of creating a sense of just a sense of interest. That. Right here we have a little bit of a highlight here. So with this chin, I'm creating the fact that this chin is coming out from underneath her lip there, making her a lot more three-dimensional. And then the light right here on the upper part, up above the lip on the orbicularis is a little more pronounced because it's facing the light a little bit stronger. And we'll just kind of make this a little more energy here. And this is when she starts coming together. So to me, it feels like oil paint and airbrush at the same time. That's what this technique feels like. In the gray area above, oh, like right here? Yes, so it's like some sort of advertisement. So it looks like some spray bottle or something like that. Just kind of making it look like there's all kinds of information and stuff like that, but simplifying it, Gary? Something like that. So I have all these different signs, here, but nothing really descript, just as, a element of the composition. But great question, sir. Now we're going to do a little bit of dry brush technique, but I need this nostril to have more energy. So I'm just going to hit this nostril with some energy. And then right here in the philtrum, we'll have some energy on this side. So with me, light is not a binary light and shadow. For me, it's all light, but it's less intense as it gets, quote unquote, more shadow. So basically, this whole thing is really bringing it together. Before it, we all felt like, hey, it's done, but now we're getting to such a wonderful feeling of completion here. Let's do the upper part of her hand here, starting with her fingernails. And then the light is hitting those fingernails quite directly, so we're going to put more energy there. And that makes her more three-dimensional. And I'm using the gray number 8, so it's not white, that's for sure. And I could actually water it down a little bit. And the wet palette is really helping as well. So I have the wet palette, the open, and everything's kind of working together, which is really cool. Do you ever clear? Yes, definitely. So I'm going to probably spray over this with 4050. I think I'm going to do that with this one, and that will be fun because it is on aluminum panel, and but I would love to put like a clear coat over it. That would be great. Or I may just get a spray clear, you know. Like a spray varnish. Not sure. Great question, sir. Now I'm kind of going down these lower fingers a little more transparent. There we go. Yes, so maybe that's what I might, just stick with the 4050, have a slight, um, a slight shine to it, but nothing too crazy. I think I might go with that. I did my Wonder Woman, I did that in the 4050, and I really liked the way that came out. Right here. Oh, well, definitely. I think it would because the basically Createx is just a acrylic. It has a little bit of a resin in it, but it's basically acrylic, so I don't think there'll be a problem. It's almost the same thing. There might be a slight change. Oh, Oh, you're back to number 3, Kyle. Oh, man. So, yes, I tried it. It did work really well. Also, I like Liquitex has a really nice varnish, which is great. Getting dizzy all this moving around, Kyle says. Yes, number one for the questions, Gary. Way to go, sir. Great questions, by the way. And now we can move into her lips here. Just put some highlights here. Okay, so I'm okay with it right now, and let's see if we could add a little bit more of the negative space with her hair. And right here, we can add, just kind of give the hair where it gets kind of translucent by that light. See how we did that? So it's really dark, and then by the light it sort of kind of loses its power, and kind of, you know, kind of lost and found the way the light kind of hits that, the hair hits that light and kind of does. There's no stupid questions. Exactly. The only ones you don't ask. That is so true. What's by the left of her head? Thought they were carrots. Your dad just said it's probably like a hairspray or something, but it's like a weird advertisement up there. No, that's not a bad question at all, sir. Oh, yeah, well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Much appreciated. Now we're going to come in with this gray and kind of do those kind of lost and found edge there. So we have this gray. So I don't know if this is dark enough. Oh yeah. So we can kind of lose it right there. And now, you know, we're kind of gaining some interest. A little more. It's really how the hair reacts. The light effects. Yes, that's funny, guys. You guys both asked the same question about the carrot. Now you can see how things are getting more interesting. Slowly, especially with the hair. See how we're kind of employing that negative space there. And then here we can actually have, you know, the hair kind of being light, kind of lost and found hairs. Oh, the next live stream, I'm not sure. So it's going to be something that's in the works, my friend. And I will surprise you guys next Tuesday. I'm going to surprise myself, actually. And we'll see how that goes. But definitely going to be doing something incorporating the heavy body acrylics with the, which is really exciting, combining the heavy body acrylics with airbrush. So I'm kind of loving the way that this whole thing is going. See how, you know, we're able to kind of create that lost and found hair. So we definitely need that open acrylic medium to kind of keep it from gelling up. But I believe I'm really happy with the way that this is holding up. I'm able to match that hair a little bit to the background. Let's see, bring her over. Oh, the video was 5 minutes behind. You're live now. Very cool. Very cool. Now we can come in and kind of create more of this negative space, Mr. Gary. Let's see. Okay. And so we're creating some more of this negative space here. So what I'm doing is kind of matching the background of the behind her hair. I mean, with this new technique, the possibilities are literally endless. You know, because now I could do palette knife techniques. I can do things that Airbrush normally can't do. And to me, that's super exciting. Airbrush cannot do opacity like this, you know, and paintbrush techniques like this. So it opens up a whole new set of creativity, I feel. And we'll zoom out. See if we can make it lighter. Remember, your painting is not always going to be the best thing you did, right? It's not always going to be your, you know, your signature masterpiece, but you always want to make it the best that you can. See if I match this color here. Almost, maybe a little bit lighter. There we go. Then we match that color pretty close. Astral says, has anyone seen a palette knife? This guy right here. And it's cool because you can use the palette knife to apply paint. You know, more the heavy body, not the thin ones. Palette jack, yes. Okay, guys, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be back. And I'm just going to make sure that I am fine here. Let me come over here. And I but I'm so glad you're here. So here we are. We're in the last 20 minutes, and we are working. So Astral is hitting spam. Just noticed that the sun is coming up there. Wow. Oh man, that is very, very late. Thank you for hanging, sir. I appreciate that. And so I'm really happy with the way that, you know, the light is kind of playing on her hair here. So what I want to do is start coming in with some of the darker hairs along this area here. So we have some dark hairs kind of coming over. Let me see, I gotta probably go a little bit darker. Let's see if there's enough paint on the brush here. Yeah, so over here, we can definitely hit this here. I gotta go darker, maybe a little more opaque, a little thicker paint. So I'll come in with the heavy body golden here. See how when we have more of the heavy body, you really get a sense of holding the line. Kyle and Astral can fight for #1. Mr. Gary is #1. Look at that. So Astral #2, Kyle #3. You guys are great. Let's see. So I have this lighter color. Let's see if this translates. A little bit. Put some of this color here. Bring this down. Something just fell. Oh, it's a brush. Okay. Now we have a little bit of a dark brown here. See if I can make this happen. Astral says he gives up. Let's see, a little more of this dark brown here. So some of her hair is showing up over here. And then we have some of this dark hair coming out right here, just by her ear. I'm really liking the way the hair is looking. And now I can come in with the #2 and then some of the ivory black. And maybe we can hit some of these dark areas. So I'm going to add some of my red to the ivory black. I'm kind of looking for some of the deeper darks that are in the hair. It's really rich darks over here. I do like the way she's looking a lot more natural than the beginning of the night. And I am basically ready to call this painting done in the next 15 minutes, which is great. So as you can see here, when I go dark, I go dark because right here we add red and the black and the gray number 2. And so when things lose their energy, the last color to go is red. So you'll see me add red and black to areas. Let's see how this goes. Put the glasses on for this part. Right over here. Now right here I want to come in with more of a red and a little bit of this dark brown, and then we'll darken it with a little bit of this gray number 2. See if I can just kind of add that lower energy right here. See how I add that lower energy on the side of the face? And that lower energy is red. Red's the longest wavelength, and also it has the longest wavelength and the as far as the spectrum, it is the longest wavelength, and also let me just double check that. And also has the least amount of energy. So as the energy of the light decreases, the higher energy photons such as violet and blue and green and orange and yellow, yellow, orange, and red's the last one to kind of last. So that's why we see red as it gets darker. So now you can see how I'm adding that, and it really is working. So now I'm going more of a transparent, and that's, you can actually get airbrush type effects with the paintbrush. And then I'll just kind of fade this out. So, as you are working with the paintbrush, you'll have that same technique, that same ability to manipulate the paintbrush the way that you manipulate the airbrush to have it do what you want to do, what you want it to do. And now I can come in with that same red, and I could do the same thing, have the red to kind of fall into the darkest dark where the two lips kind of meet, and the corner of the mouth where it gets really dark. And it's nice because you can really play with this and and get the effects you're looking for. And like I said, if I wanted to, I actually have the ability to come back and airbrush. But here's the caveat. If you're working with just the heavy-bodied acrylics, like here, then you can pretty much airbrush over that within a half hour. But if you're using the open, you have to wait at least a week for it to cure, because the open takes time to dry. And one of the main points of the open is that you have more time to blend on the surface. So that's basically where that is happening. I think I'm getting a lot more people with this live stream because of the golden acrylics. With the airbrush, over the, the Createx Wicked, It's really working together, and people are really interested in that. It definitely is opening up a new way of working, so I'm excited about it. And there's more red on the bottom, so you see how I'm just glazing. I'm doing a very, very transparent red here. And that's naphthol red medium that I'm using. Brad, how you doing? Brad says she's really looking great. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that so much. Great to see you, Mr. Brad, all the way from Manitoba, Canada. How are you, sir? So yes, Brad, so this is the open acrylics I talked about with you this week, of how, using them, over the airbrush paint to just take it to that next level, And we're always, we're always looking for that next level, Brad, right? Brad's a long time student of mine, and, he's great, very talented artist. And now we'll just look for the entropy over here where it's nice and dark. And it's not just a dark gray, but it's also, adding the red. Because remember, the red is the last color to survive. All the other colors, they died away a long time ago because of the energy level of red will stick around longer and longer as the intensity of the light goes down. So now I'm hitting the corner of the eye, corner of the mouth there. And right here, the orbicularis oris. Right here, it gets darkest right underneath her lip, her bottom lip. And we're almost there, getting to the end, the next 6 minutes for this painting. And we will be able to call her done. And, we have Mr. Magoo over there in the corner, remember, guys? That was funny. And so we had, I think we had a good time with this painting. I am going to call her done. we'll come in with this light gray here. But I really think we got a lot done today with, working with these open acrylics by Golden over the Createx Wicked paint. So they really complement each other really perfectly. Just add some light here. Increase the energy right over here. So you see how you increase the energy. You're not just making it lighter, you're increasing the energy. Ebenezer Screws, that's right, my friend. There he is back there. So true. He was Mr. Magoo, and he was Scrooge. And we have this zinc white here. Zinc white is a very transparent white. It's very interesting. I like it because it kind of does its own thing. It's like a transparent white. That's by Rembrandt Oil Paints. Very similar to that kind of feel. And I like what we did with the hair today. That was nice. So, sometimes the painting has a mind of its own. And in this painting, she kind of had that kind of feeling of, like a Northern Renaissance, like a Jan van Eyck, or a feeling of maybe like a early Holbein, and it just kind of did its own thing. And then I could do a painting, and then it would have more of a feeling of a Johannes Vermeer. So, you just kind of go with it, and the painting kind of takes on a shape of its own. So I'm coming in with this white here, this zinc white, and it's very light. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to increase the energy here as the as her sweater is facing the light. It's going to have more energy because it's facing the light most directly, and the energy is more intense, so there's more photons, and that's why we hit this. And then it looks realistic, but it only looks realistic because it's following the nature of light, not really trying to, I'm not trying in any way trying to copy the photo. I'm basically trying to make sure that the painting, even though the photo that I'm working from isn't, that the painting has a sense of the true nature of light. Edgar Degas, yes, definitely. It could have that feeling, right, Mr. Astral? And we kind of go that direction, and then the next painting could have a feeling of, Bouguereau or Norman Rockwell, and we just kind of go with it, right? That's the main thing. And you can see just these last finishing touches here, with the zinc white, which is a transparent, really gives a sense of the top of her turtleneck hitting that light most directly. And then right here we can hit this right there. Air Todd says, very nice looking, Tim. Thank you. Dwayne, how's it going, my friend? San Luis de Obispo. Great to see you. Thank you so much. Dwayne says, looking great. I appreciate you. Have a great night, Mr. Air Todd. I hope you have more fun and less work in the future, or more fun work, so it doesn't feel like work. And so this is Raul. Thank you. Raul says it's awesome. I appreciate that, sir. Love the work that you're doing. Think about, Raul, the golden acrylics on top of your airbrush. But the thing is, if you use a heavy body, you can go over with airbrush rather quickly. But if you're using the golden open acrylics, you have to wait at least a week. Ah, beautiful. Everyone's saying it's beautiful. Thank you, guys. We hit 11:30. I appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat. We have finished this painting. It's been wonderful hanging out with everyone, seeing the progress. And so next week is going to be the new painting. Oh, you bought a few golden. Very cool, Raul. I'd love to see what you do with that. So this is it. And she is on, thank you, Astral. So you can see she is on metal panel. And so this is it. You know, she's finished. I'm going to clear her, clear coat, and then that's going to be it. And she is going to be in the book. Good night, all. Take it easy. Thanks for everything in the super chat. You're all amazing. I hope you have a great night. Take care.